Welcome to our second class of Gimp, the image manipulation program. Today we are going to cover some not so basic functions, but still basic and still very useful. The most important one will be the select. Select can be done in various ways. We are also going to cover a little bit of layers and scale and opacity. So let's get started. First, let's open a very beautiful picture here. This is a picture of diving, scuba diving I did some months ago. And well, the most common task people use Gimp for is to edit, change the background or something like that. So let's make a joke here. Let's suppose we want to put a shark here behind me. So how do we do that? First we Google the internet for some shark. I already did that. And let's open another picture here. So I found this shark, very nice picture, all blue behind it. And yeah, if you see up here, there are two tabs. They are two different images, different completely isolated images. On your right you will see the layers. In this picture there's only one layer here. So the first thing about layers is that you can have, instead of two pictures, you hit Ctrl A, Ctrl C, and then Ctrl A to select everything, Ctrl C to copy, and here you press Ctrl V and you paste it. Let's select the move tool, and you can see it's a layer. In your right you see it's written floating selection. If I move my if I click outside the layer, if you choose here pick a layer guide, and after you move your cursor outside the layer, you see it changes for a little anchor. If you click here, you just merged the two layers, so that's not good because now I can't move. So Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z, and we are back where we were. Ctrl Z is to undo. You can use also here in the menu undo, Ctrl Z, and to redo, Ctrl Y. So what we want to do is to create a new layer based on this one. So we click this little icon here, and now we have two layers. I can move the layer to below it. You just see the frame, but you don't see the picture anymore. Or I put this one as background, and there you go. Now you have two layers. Also, to work better with this layer, we are going to resize it to the size of the image. There are a couple of ways to do that. If you go here in the layer menu, well, scale layer is not what you want, because this will really change the size of the shark. Layer to image size, that will make the layer the size we want. So we see the frame is not here anymore, the frame is all here. That's a good thing. Yeah, but let's do a Ctrl Z now. Ctrl Z again, Ctrl Z for moving and Ctrl Z for layer to image size. Let's first scale a little bit to make this shark smaller. So we choose the scale here, click in the shark. It's important to click the chain here. We don't want to deform the shark. Now we can click here, or we can move it like here. You see, it does not change the shape, just small. If you click in the center, you can move it around. So scale. Let's see where we are going to put it. I'm going to change the opacity just temporarily so we can see behind it. You see that I can see both images, but just to and check the move button. And now I think it will be fun if it is here. Yeah, so back to full opacity, and it is in the correct position. Now we can make this layer the size of the image, layer to image size. Also, there are these two eyes. You can click it to hide and unhide the image. One thing you are going to notice is this checked background. This indicates alpha channel. What is a alpha channel? If you right click in this layer, you see here add an alpha channel. Let's try without and with alpha channel. Let's pick the eraser. So I'm going to make a strange move here just to delete this part. You see it is white. Ctrl Z, and now if I add alpha channel and do the same thing, and now it's transparent. Ctrl Z. What we are going to do is we are going to put the shark behind the image. Let's change the opacity here a little bit so we can see where the shark is. We can change very much, and we need to select the layer we want to use. So let's select the shark layer, and here we are going to delete this blue outside the shark. So let's hide this layer, zoom here, and this is a nice tool, the wand. It selects by color. The threshold here is usually 15. If you have a very big threshold, it will mix everything. Let's see, 25. You see it selects also parts of the shark. If I hit delete, you can see clearly that shark is being selected. Ctrl Z to undo the selection. Now if you let me put like, I don't know, 11. If I click here, it's almost perfect. If I hit delete, I see where it's selected and where it didn't. Ctrl Z. What I like to do is to select everything. So I'm holding the shift key. You can see the cursor now changes to have a plus sign, and you can keep adding areas of the image. Now I guess we have everything. Yeah, just this little dent here, I don't want it, so I'm going to zoom in, and I am going to we need to remember where is the selection. The selection is outside, because the convex area here, it looks like what is selected is inside, but if you hit delete, you see that what is selected is outside. Ctrl Z. So I want to remove this part of the selection, so I can use the manual selection, and I can choose here the subtract, and then I can remove this area. See, if I want to include a little bit more of the shark fin, I can just select here, and it's done. Yeah, I don't need that. The zoom out, control and some clicks. Yeah, and move it here. So we have the shark selected. One thing that is good to do now, let's delete. So I hit delete, and the ocean is gone. We have only the shark, and remember the selection is the outside. So one thing I want to do now is to smooth this border, and to do that I like to erase a little bit of opacity in the border. Just 1 pixel is enough. But how can we do that? And first, yeah, let's zoom out. It would be nice if we could select everything. Okay, so to select everything, we click on the color of the blue shark, and it selects the shark. And if we hit Ctrl I, and we invert the selection, so now what is selected is the outside. For example, if I choose to paint and I make a line here, you can see it paints only what it is selected. Ctrl Z, Ctrl I to invert, and now you see it paints only where is the shark. Ctrl Z. So now it's the shark selected. Ctrl I. It is the surrounding selected. Yeah. So what we are going to do now is to put the shark, is to add a little smooth behind the shark. So let's take a look more closely what we are going to do. So what is selected again? It's the outside. Alright, what we want to do is to move the selection area by 1 pixel to invade the shark. To do that, we have two options here in the selection tool, in the selection menu. We can grow or we can shrink. In our case, we want it to grow by 1 pixel. If we select the shark instead, we want it to shrink. So let's grow by 1 pixel, and you can see how it moved. Now, using the eraser tool, first let's take a little bit out of the zoom, and now using the erase tool with like 40% of opacity, we can kind of delete a little bit of the shark surround. We are affecting only 1 pixel in the surround. We're deleting, but not deleting everything. We are making it half transparent. Né? Yeah. So we have the shark. Now let's see our picture, unhide it, and we click in the layer and change the opacity. The shark is there, but that's not exactly how we want. We need still to show the shark here. Sorry. So back to here, unhide, Control Y. Now we are selecting the shark, right? Whoa, yes. Sorry about that. Now with the shark selected, we unhide here and we select the layer we want to change. If we try to delete outside, nothing happens, but if we try to delete inside the selection, the shark appears. How cool is that? But here, if you see, the shark was not supposed to appear up in the reef. So we have a problem here. We need to stop the erase before the reef. We are not supposed to show everything. So let's move again, and yeah, a nice zoom in the correct area. Ctrl Z to undo this selection. Take the eraser again. We want full deletion, and the size is very important. Let's take a size 6, for example. 5, it's okay. So we are not afraid to move after the shark. The edge is too sharp. Where is our smooth area? I bet we didn't select it. Let's see. Yeah, it's outside the selection. So yeah, Ctrl Z, Ctrl Z. Let's grow the selection first. Then we can use selection grow by 1 pixel. Now we are seeing the shark. So we use the selection in this layer, but we change to this layer, and now we can delete, and the border is a little bit appearing more of the shark. Yeah, and here we can zoom in a little bit more, because you know it takes some time to do stuff like that. It's a artist job. I'm not an artist. I can teach you the tools, but I can't use them professionally very well. Yeah, and we are going to show the shark behind the scenes. This part here is the snorkel, so we don't want to cut it. And the hair, be careful. It is at full opacity. If you will want to move above the hair, you can use a little bit of opacity, so we don't delete completely the hair. See? And back to full. And here we our clear area was too clear. We can change that later, but it was too much transparent, not that good. Okay, I want I want to use this record, so I will not stop recording because of this small detail, but I probably used it too much. Yeah, you see, it's too transparent. Let's take a little bit of zoom. This area is bigger, so we can use a bigger pen, like size 10 for example. Yeah, good size. Even bigger. Ooh. Yeah, how cool is that? And things take shape. Let's try a little smaller. Here. Okay. Now a little less opacity, and we can show some shark. And you keep working on that until you have the results you want. And just hide the tone of blue. Yeah. And here near the arm, and here near the rose. Here you see, you need to learn. The first thing is that you don't need to make pixels perfect. Drawing is not about perfect pixels, it's about average view. And of course you change a little bit. And well, what can I do about this little problem here? It's 1 pixel large, right? So let's use the selection tool again and change this selection to paint it with, whoa, too much. Yeah. So we hide this layer, we are back not just hide, but you need to click in the layer. We are back in the shark layer, and there is another tool here. It's the select border. We want a border size 1. Okay, now we look at it near, and what we select is exactly the area that is a little bit problematic, right? So we want to fill it with a little bit more of the color of the shark. Let's take it from here. Let's see, maybe this blue here, this tone of blue, and the paintbrush, not 100 opacity, but I don't know, like 60. And what we do is we paint, we cover it. You see, it will only cover where is selected. Before I do that, I do a Ctrl Z to undo this part, and I will take off the zoom out, and do it on one single paintbrush from here, a bigger size, because when you do two paintbrushes you change it, the opacity twice, so I don't want to change the opacity twice, so I don't take the pen out of the drawing table. Alright, oops, and then let's unhide the layer and what we got it. Ooh, scary. How about that, huh? So this is the class for today. I hope you enjoyed and you learned some techniques. It's very full of tools. You can learn all about them, but what it really makes you shine is to know when to use them, because just to know what the tool does, it's not enough to make a great artist. You need to have the hand, and you need to learn how the order of the tools you use affect the drawing, and that's only using a lot of pictures and practicing and trying yourself. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and if you want to learn more, keep subscribed and come back when we have another video. Okay, goodbye and have a nice day.